Itami was a very small village, and it was a farming town. And I think it's interesting to say that I came from a farming town. And I remember thinking, the Japanese people, as they walked by one another, they would always bow, maybe stop and exchange a few words and so forth, and very, very polite to one another, as far as I could tell. And I contrasted that to from Plant City on a Saturday night, and what a difference. I mean, some of these guys would come in and they'd squat down on the sidewalk and spit tobacco, and they'd talk and everything, or being cordial to one another. But the contrast, and these were the Japanese people were elegantly dressed, in their traditional costumes out in this little village. There wasn't any Americanizing of their costumes at that time. And it just struck me as being I had it wrong, that who are the crude people here? And so it gave me pause to think. I was really quite impressed with the contrast. But we had, I'd say, at my level, and in our situation, we had no contact with the Japanese, except, as I say, my buddy who went over to the brewery and bought beer, but we had just very, very little contact with them. Oh, of course, this little, in Osaka, where they did have a little more sophisticated entertainment venues, and people would sometimes go to those things, but no real socializing that I was aware of. Although we had a interesting contact one time in Japan with a little group of Russians, white Russians, I call them, who had, been for political reasons had to get out of Russia, and they'd gone to Japan. And one of them was a pearl merchant. And I wish I'd had enough sense to have bought what he was selling, because he walked around with pockets full of beautiful pearls. But I didn't know one pearl from a good one from a bad one, and so I didn't get involved in that. But and we used to we visited with those folks some, but they were not a part of the Japanese culture at all. They were quite separate.